What's up, B?
What's up, Heather?
Is that ever going to get old?
Nope.
Nope. Well, today is another first for Team Tortured Bourbon. We are launching our Wednesday tasting episodes brought to you by our favorite Raleigh bar, Hoppy Endings.
Yes, as you'll see, we are not wearing our soon-to-be famous limited edition, but you can order one, Tortured Bourbon sweatshirts and t-shirts that you can find in the description.
Well done, B.
I tried. Which, by the way, we actually sell at cost. Anyways.
Yeah, we make nothing from that. But anyway.
Yeah, for the next several weeks, we are blessed because every Wednesday, we're going to feature a pour from a bottle that's generously loaned to us from a private collection by Damian. Damian is the owner, and Lydia, let's be honest.
Fair.
Damian and Lydia is the owner of the Hoppy Endings Bourbon Bar. And if you're all familiar with our show, and if you're not, you know we frequent Hoppy. We want you to check them out. They're one of the largest bourbon bars in the southeast United States. And it's in the most unassuming place that you could ever imagine. Anyways,
it's in a strip mall.
So, that being said, to Damian and Lydia and the people at Hoppy, they have been supporters of us from the jump. Mm-hmm. This is not a financial sponsorship. This is Damian grabbed something off his wall at home and said, "You can use this on the show."
That's right.
So we just wanted to say thank you.
And while you're checking out their socials in our episode description, don't forget to do that. Be sure you like and subscribe on our channel and follow us on all our social platforms, X, Facebook, and Instagram. Not TikTok yet. Boomer B is still on the fence about that one.
I'm not a boomer, but I am not going to be using TikTok. However, what I'm not on the fence about is Hoppy. If there's a bourbon or whiskey you could want to try that Damian doesn't have, I'd like to know what it is. However, if he doesn't have it, he's going to do his darndest to go out and get it for you.
I have no doubt.
And he won't just buy one.
No, he's going to come back with a barrel.
He's going to come back with lots. If you wanted to find a Russell's 15 or Weather Millennium or
he's got it.
Something obscure, it's there. And look, and if bourbon's not your thing, and a great selection of whiskey, when I say whiskey, of scotch, great selection of tequila. Some very unique tequilas. He's not afraid of that.
Yeah.
And let's not forget that they have a nice craft beer list.
Very extensive.
Yeah.
And they have an entire wall, and I don't mean a little wall.
Oh, they have a wall.
Big old wall full of all kinds of 4-packs for purchase.
Yep, and cooler and 4-pack for purchase. And it's just not traditional 4-packs. There's
something for everybody.
Something for everybody. There's something
right.
for everybody on that wall. In fact, he's doing so much of that business, he jokes now that he's a grocery store with a bar.
Well, B and I tend to go for the bar. But today, we're going to feature Widow Jane Lucky 13. I had regular Widow Jane for the first time at the recommendation of a work colleague. Thanks, Brian. I loved it. So, of course, I then immediately made B try it.
That's how it works around here.
Michter's was the exact same way, actually.
That's exactly how that works around here.
Then B and I together had Baby Jane during our first official Tortured Bourbon visit to Hoppy.
Yeah, our first recording episode.
Yeah. And it was at Damian's recommendation. It was actually from a barrel that had been hand-selected by his wife, Lydia, who, according to Damian, she's the one with the palate. B and I loved it. And so we were excited when Damian included this in the box he loaned,
That's right. So we wanted to feature it on our first episode that is roundabout sponsored by Hoppy. Or
right.
We're saying it's sponsored by Hoppy anyways.
Yeah.
He's one of his loaners. So we wanted to feature it because, we started off with Damian in our first episode drinking a Widow Jane. Now we're going to drink another Widow Jane. So we're coming full circle.
I love that. I love when life comes full circle.
Full circle.
Make a t-shirt.
Okay, we'll work on that. Sorority girl, gotta have a t-shirt. Now, this one's new to both of us. Mm-hmm. Like all Widow Jane products, it's aged in their rick house located in Red Hook, Brooklyn.
Where all the best bourbon comes from.
No.
Sleep.
Till Brooklyn. But really, I mean, when I think traditional bourbon, I think Brooklyn.
Obviously.
But they say that it has exposure to a variation in temperatures and humidity. Essence of yellow cab going by in Brooklyn.
A little pollution,
you never
exhaust.
Know. We are absolutely stereotyping.
Dirty water hot dogs.
we are just stereotyping New York left and right.
Well, to be fair, they stereotype Southerners too.
That's true.
So.
Now, Lucky 13 is aged. I bet you won't guess, but it's for 13 years. It proofs in at 93, with their using their famed local limestone mineral water.
So not dirty hot dog water.
That's right. And of course, when you talk about limestone water, it's the same. People talk limestone water in Kentucky. Well, they got limestone water in New York.
Apparently, we just need to get some limestones outside and funnel our water through that game changer.
Let's do it.
All right.
It's supposed to carry an aroma of vanilla bean, Earl Grey tea, that I'm interested in, caramel, and sweet tobacco.
So the taste should also give us some pecan pie, whole grain toast.
I love toast.
This is B's flavor profile. It's southern, but then it's got that little bit of like British breakfast with the Earl tea and toast, which you love toast.
When have you ever seen me sip Earl Grey tea?
I could see it though.
You probably could.
In your leather chair over there, just eating your toast. He does love toast, y'all.
You love toast.
He loves toast.
What's wrong with toast?
You're also supposed to get a little grapefruit peel. And then a finish of nutmeg, birch beer, which y'all, I had to ask me what that was. And apparently it's very similar to root beer.
You know, birch, root, anyways.
Fair. Is birch the one you chew on if you need to brush your teeth, like in the wilderness?
Yeah.
I did do that as a kid.
I'm sure you did.
I don't know how he can call me pretentious and a mountain redneck, like within the same episode. Anyway, you're also supposed to get a finish with a little bit of dry oak and tannin and a side of banjo, apparently.
I've met your mother and father. They don't look too much alike, but are they from the same holler?
No, different hollers, thank you.
Still want to talk about that family tree for a second, but let's do the bourbon.
I don't want any tails or anything.
You did earlier talk about your son and the possibilities, but that's a whole nother story.
That's a whole nother story. What are you getting? Definitely some oak.
I definitely get oak. Vanilla bean I get.
I definitely get vanilla bean.
Sweet tobacco. I get tobacco.
Yeah, which is interesting from Brooklyn.
Well, I'm
joking.
Yeah, but that's got to do something with the oak, right?
It does. It's a common flavor profile. It's so fun talking about this juxtaposition between traditional bourbon flavors and Red Hook Brooklyn.
Yeah, so we did this out in Camp, what is it? Camp Nelson.
Camp Nelson.
In Kentucky. Or up in the hills of Tennessee. This is in Brooklyn.
So the Earl Grey tea, I don't know if I get, because I don't really drink tea, hot tea.
We have a tea expert on this show.
We do. We're going to let her smell it really quick.
We've decided that the Earl Grey tea is a stretch. Now, if this tastes like pecan pie,
we're going to go buy some bottles.
We got trouble. And it's $100 a bottle. So I don't know if I hope that it does or hope that it doesn't. I do know that Damian expects us to return it with some bourbon in it. So let's.
If B loves it that much, we'll be buying our own bottle. I do get grain. Maybe not whole grain toast, but I do get grain.
Dry oak and tannin.
At the end, for sure. Ooh, right there. Dries right out.
Reminds me a little of Baker's 13.
Yeah. That's a good comparison.
In that dryness. Mm-hmm. I'd have to taste them again together for flavor profile, but in sense of tannin and dryness.
The finish.
They both do that.
The finish is very similar. Like you said, that strong oak taste. Very dry. The grapefruit peel is maybe just a hint of bitterness. Not necessarily strong grapefruit, but I get a little bit of the bitterness maybe you would get from a rind. Maybe there's a hint of sweetness there.
There's a hint of sweetness. See, I would come closer to saying apple pie.
Really?
Apple pie is actually originally British. I'm just going to put it out there. And being we're looking for the Earl Grey tea.
So B is going to sit in his leather chair with his Earl Grey tea and his toast and his apple pie.
My Earl Grey tea here. Now, it has nice legs.
I love apple pie. But only good apple pie. Some people's apple pie is not good. You know that's right. They don't have enough crust. And the crust they do have is like flimsy and thin and not flavorful.
This is good.
They don't put enough cinnamon and spice in the apples.
Now see, you just answered why I think it tastes more like apple pie.
Why, the spice? I'm with you there because pecan pie doesn't have the baking spices.
No.
You're completely right. It's the caramel nutty flavor.
Yes. And I'm not saying that that's not there.
I'm on board with you with that.
That's where I was getting.
I'm on board there.
Can you rate this, please?
Because you've been so on task. Oh my God. There is so many things wrong with you.
Next week on Tortured Bourbon, all the things wrong with B, as I sip my Earl Grey tea with the bourbon in it. Where would you rank this on our scale?
So I really liked this a lot. I'm gonna rate it a dog will hunt, but like a solid dog will hunt.
I have a really hard time rating a $100 bottle of bourbon a dog will hunt.
Yeah, I get that.
But I get why 13 years comes through. Mm-hmm. So I know why they're charging me $100 for it. But then again, for a 13-year-old, I don't know that $100 is a lot. I tell you where I'm more likely to have this is at a bar, one pour.
Right, you're not likely to go chase a bottle down.
If we're somewhere and it's one of the more unique offerings, and it's priced reasonably competitively. I don't mean cheaply, but competitively.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. And in that
Absolutely.
case, for me, it would be a Hush Your Mouth.
I really like the flavor profile of this. And again, it was a between Hush Your Mouth and Dog Will Hunt for me. It was a strong Dog Will Hunt, and I went more on flavor profile.
On flavor profile, for me, it's closer to a Hush Your Mouth.
But I think that you pointing out, I'm glad you pointed out the price point, because the other two Widow Jane versions that we have tried, the regular 10-year and the Baby Jane, are at lower price points. And so I'd be interested. One day we'll have to get a Decadence, and we'll have to do a Widow Jane episode and try all four.
Before I pay a markup on the Colonel Taylor small batch, which should be $50, that I would have to pay $100 for, I'd rather buy this at MSRP and not feel like I was contributing $50 to $75
to the secondary
to an inflation.
Yeah, I hear you.
So this is complicated.
Yeah, it is. Well, and it represents some complicated conversations in bourbon and pricing and all of that.
At 13 years, if you want to charge me $100 or more for a bottle, I get it. I get it.
I agree.
So I know I'm sending a mixed message there.
Well, I think it was a good start for our Hoppy Wednesday episodes.
I am so thankful that we've got some. It's really interesting what he's lent us, because we've got some unique stuff that we probably would not go into a store and buy.
Right.
And then we've got some stuff that we've really wanted to try that we would go to a store and buy and just haven't yet.
Right.
And then we've got some stuff we've
never seen before.
Never seen before. So I'm really excited, because what we try to focus in on this show, on our regular episodes, is either stuff that you can go into the ABC store and buy, or stuff that we yearn for, but that's not insane. Like Colonel Taylor small batch should be $50.
Right.
So we try to review it and say, okay, this is, if you could find this for $50, okay, but what's your good alternative in our tortured state?
Right. And then
First world problem, tortured state.
what is putting our irritation with allocation aside? Here's some allocated things we've been able to get. What's worth it if you see it?
Yeah. So it's nice that we're going to have a couple shows where it's a little out of our ballpark.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, it's a nice swing.
It is.
Without changing our profile of who we want to be.
Right.
Just giving us some experience.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
Giving us, broadening our horizons a bit, B. Broadening our horizons. On that note, to the good widow, may she rest in peace.
Isn't that the whole point, that she's not resting in peace? Isn't that the whole point of the story?
Oh, yeah. Well, no. Yeah, that's right.
Not resting
May
in
she forever haunt.
Haunt, yes. Cheers,
Cheers,
y'all.
y'all.